Hey everybody, how's it going? Kimberly, not a fan of the cold. Yeah, at least everybody had faith in me starting before the market opened today. That's good. Yeah, chilly Halloween. Some places. What is it? It's 43 here. Not too bad. No frost on the pumpkin for me. How's everybody going? Happy Halloween. Got my festive fun outfit on. So, anyway. Alrighty, let's get the I don't know why I keep closing the show of the have this all set up and then close it right before like instead of pull it over, I click close. Cool. Anyway, I gotta be careful. I shake my head too much. My hat's gonna take my whole take my whole head off. Anyway, so Apple and Amazon kind of launching off today, and I guess we're back to another episode of What Has Wall Street Panicked Today? And it's a show where we drink our coffee or our monster, look at the numbers, try to figure out if the sky's falling or if it's just another Tuesday. Wait, or is it Friday? Or Wednesday? No, it's Friday, right? Happy Halloween. Last night we got a tale of two tech titans, Apple and Amazon, who both stepped into earnings confessional. And let me tell you, their stories couldn't be more different, actually. One's kind of like a gritty drama about a struggling empire. The other, high octane action movie with explosions and a 9-figure budget. So let's start off with the drama. Apple, right? They came out, and on the surface, everything looked okay, pretty good. They beat revenue expectations as expected. They beat profit as expected. They're really good at beating, and that's kind of their MO. They're really good at beating earnings. They even managed to sell more Macs, but then the camera pans to a dark and stormy part of the world, and we realize they've got bad China numbers. It seems that iPhone sales are about as popular in China right now as a screen door on a submarine. Sales in that region dropped 4%, missing Wall Street's estimates by quite a bit. This isn't just a blip. This is the 7th time in the last 9 quarters that China has missed for Apple. This has been a problem child. The local competition, especially from Huawei, Huawei, kind of eating their lunch in China. So they're just not hitting with that local customer in China, even though historically we've made most of the iPhones in China. The stock predictably took a nosedive in the after hours, panic in the streets, sell, sell, sell. But then, plot twist, a hero emerges from the shadows. That hero's name is Services. Now, for those of you who just think Apple is a company that sells you a new phone every 2 years for the price of a used car, you're missing the real story here. The services business is Apple's secret weapon. The App Store, Apple Music, iCloud, Apple TV. This is the digital ecosystem that many of you are paying a monthly fee to live in. Think of it as Apple's subscription box for everything you didn't know you needed, but it turns out you want. And that business is an absolute monster. It brought in a record $28.75 billion with a B this quarter, growing at 15%. That's over $100 billion a year in high margin, reoccurring services revenue. It's so profitable, it basically single handedly saved the quarter and convinced investors out there to forget all the bad news, forget about China, and the stock reversed course and ended up in the green. Classic Hollywood ending. So the investment opportunity the story of Apple is no longer just about how many iPhones they move. It's about their transformation into a software and services company. That reoccurring revenue is predictable. It's potentially stable. It's incredibly valuable, low margin, and it's what makes Apple a long-term hold, even if they're fighting dragons in China. Now, let's switch gears a minute to the action movie. Not a lot of drama here. No suspense, just pure, unadulterated, blockbuster type performance. They beat on everything, beat on sales, beat on profits, beat on you name it. The stock didn't just go up, it took off. Finally. While Apple was dealing with a hardware headache, Amazon was busy building the digital railroad that the entire global economy runs on. Talking, of course, about Amazon Web Services. AWS, for those that don't know, that maybe just hear the initials. For the uninitiated, AWS, it's kind of like the landlord for the internet. A large chunk of websites, maybe a huge chunk of websites, use at least some of the AWS services. Apps that you use every day are running on it. And there's some of Amazon's customers. And you, whether you know it or not, are using Amazon's data centers and computers. And that business is on fire right now, according to these earnings. AWS actually grew 20% this quarter after looking lackluster in the first half of the year. That's the fastest pace we've seen AWS expanding since 2022, blowing past expectations. Why? Came down to one thing: AI. Amazon is spending money on artificial intelligence like a sailor on shore leave, and they're investing billions of dollars in AI startups like Anthropic, the company behind Claude chatbot, LLM, and they're just opened an $11 billion data center in Indiana called Project Rainier. I was warning about that yesterday. Why did they announce that before earnings if they didn't expect something to, like, they were so excited. They were sitting there like so excited about it that they had to announce it before earnings. That to me tips the hat just a little bit that they're going to have really good earnings. And then the stock went up as I kind of like predicted, because we had the pattern that said they were probably going to go up. They're building their own custom AI chips. They're already fully subscribed on this brand new $11 billion data center. They've already maxed it out. They've already sold all the capacity. That's pretty big. So what's the investment opportunity here with Amazon? Well, they're not just an online store anymore. They're an undisputed king of the cloud. They're making massive all-in bets to make sure they remain the king as well. And the growth in AWS is the engine driving this stock. And that engine, it's just sitting there at idle. The potential here, pretty staggering. So what did we learn from all of this overnight? We learned that if your main product is struggling in a key market, you better go after a high margin subscription business and have that to fall back on. And if you're already the king of the internet, well, everybody's gunning for the king. You better stay ahead. So for Apple, the story, it's about a pivot. For Amazon, it's just dominance, and they just keep dominating on data centers. For me, I just like to watch the show, maybe buy a few shares here and there on dips, and catch the pullback in continuation. So that's what we got for this morning. And how do we make money today? Let's talk about it. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation is intended to be informational, educational, fun, and entertaining, not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument, including stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. You know, if you trade them, you might lose money. And if you want somebody to tell you what buttons to click, hire and consult a financial advisor. Here we are, the last trading day of October. Everybody, got 2 months left. 2 months left. Look at this. This is, I mean, we're down to it here. Got 4 weeks in November And we got 5 weeks, well, 4.5 weeks in December. We're down to the end of the year. If you haven't been performing, you haven't had the performance you wanted this year, it's time to start making plans for next year. How are you gonna turn this baby around in your own account? Now, for me, here we are. Here we are, all time. Look at this. Beautiful numbers, year to date. Beautiful numbers. I just keep grinding it higher right here. So, there you go. This late day play, I played 2 of these at 2 o'clock and 2 of these at 3 o'clock. Got paid almost the same amount. It's pretty ridiculous. There's the 3 o'clock one. Here's the 2 o'clock one. Absolute insanity that there was that much money. And yeah, I did buy a put to offset it. Sold these, bought these, offset it. I ended up with like $240 with exposure to the market for like an hour. It's just crazy that there was that much premium sitting there yesterday. And look how far down I was. Like, if you look at the strike price here, I was at 25,560. 25,560. Let's pop over here and look at this. I was down here. 25,560. Right here. Maybe like, whoo, that was a little scary, but not really. That's where I was. And this is where we closed. I had that much room to the downside. Now, this dropped the other day. I was further away than that. From the drop on the 10th, I was further away. Yet still getting paid. Still getting paid. I mean, I like it. It's crazy that there's that much potential profit out there. Just, I look at it like 20s in the street. So what is it I do? Let me pull over a platform and show. So I come in here, I grab the 0 days, I roll down here, like 1, 2, 3 o'clock. You gotta be careful, I mean, right now you could jump in all the way down here at 24.90. Could the day turn out to be kind of scary? Maybe. I don't know. Right from $45 right there to be down at 24,990 with a 50 point wide spread. 24,490. That's even further down here, right about here. Now, this early in the day, I probably wouldn't do that. What am I doing? I'm coming in here looking for the options that are right around $2 and then doing a 50 wide spread and looking for credit. It's been anywhere. What's crazy is earlier this week, it was only like $20. Even last week, like a couple days, you could only get $20 for one of these. Yesterday, you could get $60 and $70. It was just absolutely wild. So you come in here, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, hunt for those $2 options. Sometimes you can even go below $2 and pick these up and still get nice premium. So just be careful out there. The market is closed right now, so these are not live prices, but they will be live here in a minute. It's been a pretty lucrative trade. Just a late day, and you just let them expire. You don't is it a day trade? Yes, but it doesn't count as a day trade because you just let it expire. I just ride them into the dirt. So it's pretty interesting. But you got to make sure you're a couple caveats to this. I don't like to get anywhere near these blue lines. This blue line is 1 standard deviation. This blue line is 2 standard deviations. How do you know where that is? You basically take the at the money. The price is jumping up, so now the blue lines are off. You take the at the monies here, sell both sides, just go right there. 160 points down, that's 1 standard deviation. So you need to be double that, at least away from price. And that works whatever time you're going to get into it. Like later in the day, come in here, be right there, double that number, and be more than that away from price. All right. Hopefully that helps a little bit. It's a cool trade. I showed off. When I get into it, I share it with my Termite Trading Lab group. The company has said they had no interest in really selling it because I don't just do NDX. I don't just do SPX. Sometimes I do futures. So depends on where the opportunity is, where the most money is. So which one I do. Anyway, there's no delta to it. The delta is like 0.005. Has like a 99.9%, 99.5% chance to go out for profit. Anyway, S&P 500 today. Well, this is my caution. That may be the first move down. This be the retrace. We're not back at all-time high yet. Let's clear this up a little bit. Clean it up, clean it up. We did exceed the range I thought we would. This looks like a first move down. Even though we're smoking hot today, this is a cautionary point to pull back to. This can result in that trip down here. Be very, very careful here. Maintaining that 618 can definitely push us down back. This stays the same place basically. And that one may go a little higher now. I'm still kind of expecting, excuse me, a little growl in my voice here. Still expecting a potential downside. Shows up here too, despite the big rally. We're still in a danger zone for another swing lower. That swing lower. Let's see, that high, this low, this high. Could easily be back down here around 25.4. Now, if the day starts out like we did on the 10th, back here, another caveat for that trade. If we're doing this all day long, probably leave that trade alone. That put spread thing, if we're doing this in the market, where we're just grinding lower all day long. See it over here too. We're just grinding lower all day long. Probably not the wisest idea to do a bullish put spread. So be careful. There is some context on the day. It's not just universal, always going to work. There's no magic box that just prints out winning trades, as they say. And this thing is not participating today at all. May take a trip back down to the roadmap line here before we can take a trip up here to the 2600 target. Now, it's always possible that we just pop that oil Still in the danger zone to go. This is kind of interesting, though. We're making this little head and shoulders thing here. If that kind of breaks out, we could see another leg back up in here. So we could see something like that pop up in here, but that still be a lower high, still be a retest of this trend line, and it could take us down even further. So more unclearness in oil, I guess you might say. Non-clarity. GC, we still have the potential to rally back up to this 618 over the next coming days before we take another dive out the window. Bitcoin, very concerned here right now. Very concerned. Now, we kind of held on to this level barely. Barely. And it depends on which Bitcoin chart you look at. So, looking at this one right here as the index. I very commonly look at the one from Coinbase. It's a little bit different story. There's some cautionary numbers. And we got down pretty deep in here yesterday and closed it up for the day. Depending on which time stamp you use as the day, you can vary this quite a bit. And we're holding on. Now what we need to see. That was 3 waves up. This was a cautionary number. Got right to the limit. If this turns down today, breaks below that low, we're probably going below 100. Probably going below 100. Here's the level to watch on the upside. Right in here, 117. I mean, excuse me, 112. 117 is up here. There's the target. 112. If we come up there, turn down, and break back below, that's an indication that we may be in for a move down and well into the 90s. This is a potential 5-wave down right here. That is a 3-wave retrace. This could be an A, could be a B, but for downside, when you're long, you should plan on it being the worst case scenario, in which case that would be a 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5 could be pretty brutal here. So you always plan on it being the worst case scenario when it's against you. That 3 could put us down at 83, 4 here, and the 5 could put us down in the 70s if this actually developed into a bigger 5 down. That's why I warn. Everybody wondered, what's the warning sign? 5 down, 3 up, lower high, and then we break down below this low. And the problem here is, though, this can go very quickly. So now that you've got 5 down, 3 up, and a retrace down to the support line, this is where you add some protection if you need it. Because if we breach that level, this can go quick. Much faster than you have the ability to put any trade on. So this could become a big A. We could get some sort of B. And then we could do a C down in the 40K area. That's the problem we got cooking. And this could take well into timeline. This could be well into like August to October next year. Like this thing could take a while to play out. And this thing could take a long while to play out. Or it could go fast. So that's the warning. Now on the upside, we could break out and go. I don't have price action that supports big numbers on the upside at the moment. I need something more conducive to upside price action here. A 3 up is not the way we start off to going big up. Similar to the way ES has been the last few days. Like, yeah, we did get to a new all-time high, but at the same time, it was not very enthusiastic here. So we just kind of started out with a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And we just haven't been able to, like, there's no real continuation here. So it's not like we're going to go shooting off to that 150K with the kind of price action we have going on Bitcoin right now without more clarity. Then Ethereum. Ooh, we made a lower low. That's not good. This low right here. Getting below those lows. That's a warning right there. Something's not right. Now if we can pop back up, break through, do this right here, right over here, we can salvage it, but that is not a good sign right there. Not good, not good. I do not like that right there. Bad price action. Now, where's the money flowing? Money's flowing out of gold, out of Bitcoin, into this puppy right here. Party on, Wayne. Party on, Garth. Almost to that target. How high can we go? If we bust on through, probably cruising on up here. 60,000. This is where the money's going. Money's flowing where it needs to flow. Now, when this finally does run its course, money will flow back out and into other stuff. So maybe we're not in crypto winter yet. Maybe we're not in a big problem yet. Maybe we're just taking a breather on these while this one runs its course. And then sometime here in the next couple months, this one tops out. These pull back. And then this one pulls back. And those take their run to match this. It's a global liquidity indicator for me. Shows the global liquidity is increasing, but we're not seeing the response in our risk on assets over here. Maybe profits from gold rolling over into this, pushing it higher. The dollar index here pushing on through. Here we go. Push this on up here. Back test. Sets us up for the breakthrough 102. That's the key level where we really start stopping out big players that are short the dollar. Apple, classic, tag the target, start retracing. Watch for this retrace. Could be pretty dramatic. We've seen this kind of price action before on earnings. Like that one. Big pop and drop. Yeah, I've seen a lot of Apple earnings where we pop and then just drop it out. So we did tag that target. That was the upside target from this whole big move. We activated it back here, and even though I was a skeptic the whole time, we tagged it right there, 276. That can be done for now. We can retrace, retest the breakout. We can retest the roadmap line. We can retest the bottom from here. Be careful. Amazon at the same time, up to all-time highs, but did not hit the 257 target here. Probably still has some juice left to get up there. That was a large gap, though. It may need to spend a few days recharging a little bit before we can push on up higher. Google didn't reach that 304 yet. This is getting a little hypoxic. Probably going to need a retrace. The first line of support would be that level. Well, it'd be this whole consolidation level right here. Coming back into that zone would be normal. Retesting the top or even the bottom of it. Coming back into there. Bouncing would be normal. By the time we get there, it may be right over here toward the end of the year. This may spend a little time retracing. Microsoft still being soft. I expect this to come all the way back down into this zone. Meta. Potential to be done here, but be careful because this can start extending further down to 580 area. Nvidia, it looked like it tagged that target yesterday. Nope, just a little shy. Ooh, pennies away. And for all intents and purposes, that tagged the 212 target. So be careful. This can... So we've now set up the potential for a larger retrace in the market's biggest company by tagging that. You see how long it took to grind through the 1272. Could take much longer to grind through this, or we need a bigger correction to be able to come back through. Doesn't have to. It could just, keep blowing and going. Tesla announcing they're going to turn on robotaxi in China. Should be interesting. So far, not breaking out. Kind of a three-wave up. Bring some unclarity, non-clarity here. A little cloudiness to the next potential. I'd like to see it just keep going. We got lots of overlap here with these big candles. These highs and these lows. It's all creating this overlapping price action here. So no clear path forward at the moment. This could still bring a bigger correction that comes back down in here. Lower low than this low we had back here at 409. We could still flush back down here before we can pop. Like this could just be a big correction back in this 400 area. So we got a little more grind to do here, it looks like. Now, we do have a shareholder event coming up next Thursday, and this could just pop up to the target at any point in time. Netflix trying its darndest to be done here on the downside. I go pull gainers and decliners. We'll hunt through a few of these, look for opportunity. Reddit didn't hit the roadmap line, but nice pop here on earnings. Cloud flare. 267 would be the next upside there. WDC. Golly, man. This is going to pull back. It's going to be a pullback for the record books here, probably. See these big runs we do in WDC? And then when it's met with a... See what it's met with? Giant retraces. So it's going on another one of these rips. Wow. Looks a lot like this one. Funny enough, you know what that one was? .com bubble. I think it's so funny. Everybody's saying that AI. I hear so many people like, "Oh, this is not an AI bubble because it's the same stuff we talked about in the .com bubble." All right, like it's not a bubble. It won't be a bubble this time. This time's different than every bubble we've had in the past. This time's different. All the companies building this stuff have money. It's still a bubble. When's the bubble pop? I don't know. Still a bubble. MSTR is popping a little bit. But, I mean, this may be the only reason that Bitcoin was up today. This is a cautionary point here. We're not getting above. It's not even outside the range of yesterday. Still an inside candle. Still has the potential to come on down. It doesn't look very good, I have to say. FSLR. Wow. This thing's got through the end of the year, and then tax credits are done for. Can we get back to the highs? I don't know. Twilio, still bearish. As long as we're lower than that high right there, this has a potential to take another big trip down. And then put it, the next move can potentially put us at the lower low. Be careful on Twilio. Could take a while, but Coinbase was popping a little bit. Still hadn't hit the roadmap line. That's still a first move down, a retrace, and we can still get a next move down. Still take us down in this area. A-Lab, 3 waves down. Could be done on the retrace. Didn't tag the roadmap line on the daily, but it was a 4-hour bounce potential. Confluence up here at this next level, 294. We can get above the 210 area. Let's see, VGT. Look at a little played out. 807 may see a bigger pullback here. Let's see, lots of leverage stuff. NVT. It's up to the target. Watch for another pullback, although there's not been a pullback since March, April. So that's riding with big tech basically at this point. CRDO. And 342 next upside. XLY. Wow. Target will be 251 on that one. Ferrari. Looks like we're going down still. 337. LMN. I'd be very cautious here. This could use a bigger downside move. Had it first move down, a retrace, and the second move down, we'll put it down here around 25. SDNK. SNDK. Say the word, the letters in the right order. Just ripping. That's just ripping with big tech. You know, I guess party on, Wayne, party on, Garth. 400, 600. I don't know. See where that tops out. 2x on Robinhood. Snow right up to the target zone. Beautiful. This probably needs another retrace, and it can go much higher from here. This is only the 320 area is actually the bullish target. If this is going to be a bigger continuation. So if we get up above 320, then get a pullback, this will probably go at least on a move this size from wherever this bottoms out on up there. I'm long one share. I rode some calls from here up to here. Got out. Got my piece. So we'll see what happens on that one. VRT launching off 208 next upside and 300 above that. AMD about to the 266 target. We have 306 above that. Big picture, probably 4 to 600. 450 to 600. Oracle coming on back down to the roadmap line. I thought we would see this. Talked about that with Jack quite a bit. Marvell still struggling in here. While it is confirming that we may be able to break out to, if we can get that close above there, like starts tipping the odds, we're going to see that right there. 146. PLTR. Be careful here. But next upside is 232. Party on. STX, party on. Got a little pullback. 300, 334, 356, 386, 474. Next upsides there. There's a lot of stuff bullish today. This one has a potential for a downside setup here. Be careful. Be careful, be careful, be careful. We do have earnings coming up next week. Got to move down. Got to retrace. This can easily get that move. Even if it has banger earnings, it can still get that move. Be careful. Be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful. Circle has their earnings coming up on the 12th. And it's just kind of riding with crypto here. Not really doing anything. At potentially head and shoulders for a move down, unfortunately. If that plays out, could be down here. XLK keeps rocking and rolling. That looks just like, I mean, that's technology for you. That's big tech. Rock and roll. 373 maybe? I don't know. DDOG has, now, as big tech has been breaking out, DDOG has not. This thing been struggling. If we can break through this downtrend of highs that we've had going for a couple of years now, if we can break through, retest, we could be see prices up here. But this has been struggling since we made this big high back here in 2021. We've not been able to take this one higher. Lots of leveraged Bitcoins and stuff. ARM. So it broke out. We're back testing this breakout of the downtrend that we've had going since 2024. Downtrend of highs, downtrend of highs. Back testing it here. If we can keep holding it, break back above, I would have expected this last spike to go. This does, it would concern me here that we were unable to launch right there. This should have just gone. Now we're doing kind of a double test. Maybe an indication of weakness here. Shopify, keep rocking and rolling. It's probably due for a pop out to 233 as long as the market can keep going higher. Retail being soft, but not slowing Shopify down. Amazon, their web services kind of, really, you can look at the layoffs as, hey, our retail business not doing good, so we're laying off retail workers and we're putting money toward the data center stuff because that's what printing money. I think that's where the layoffs came from on Amazon. 147. Zillow still being weak. That made we did hit the upside. Let's see what we got here. If we can maintain that move right there and break out above that and get through the 83 area, could be good for a move to 100 pretty quickly here. TER, working on that target. 193, 218 above that. Let's see, anything else? Let's look at some decliners. SPSC, wow. This is why you be very careful when it's consolidating under the roadmap line, because it can just do that. Now it's possible this is done. Put a fib line to it. That's the big correction there. This could potentially be done now, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Zooming this up. That looks like the A, the B, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. C. Charter, continue to be soft. ETQ. And Baba pulling on lower high. Be careful. This could take a bigger trip down to the roadmap line if it's not going to turn around here. ABBV could take a trip down to the roadmap line. Gilead could take a trip down to the roadmap line. Same story, same story, same story. We have 4 things set up for a potential entry today. That one, it's already almost to the target. Here's the high, here's the low. Yesterday was the entry. 183.25 is the target. MELI. Here was the high, there's the low. Picked it up right here. 26.30 target. MKL. There's the high, there's the low. Picked it up right here. 2,000 is the target. And ROL in it from back here. Target's still up there at 59. There's the high. Here's this low. Didn't stop out down here. 59.91 if you take this one right here. 96 and 4. That's that bigger one's probably going to play out. And this one's going to play out. Like, that's a pretty smoking one right there. So, bias for the day. Cautiously bullish, I guess you might say. Watch out for... So, if we can get above this level right here, 69.20, 69.25, at 69.20 area. If we can get above that, we can go on up. As long as we're underneath that, watch out for down here, 68.50. We start down below that, we're going on down, probably down here, 6,700 again. That's the area to watch. If we get below that low, probably going down to 6,700 on the futures. On the cash, looks a bit more grim here. Yeah, 6,700 still. Maybe even 6,650. Be where I expect it to come down to. All righty, everybody. I'll be at Market Masters 11:30, so then I'll be back next Monday for another Morning Monster. I'll be in Discord hanging out in between times. Have a great time, everybody. Be careful out there.